Okay, folks, I'm assuming there's some people out there. It's all right, I haven't streamed for a while, so I'm not sure if everything's working okay. If someone can hear me, can you just put a quick comment if you can? Okay, so let's have a little look. So let me just set my, what's it up? Bear me a second. So let's go with 60, which is that one. Tony, how you doing, buddy? Excellent. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... and 6. That one I don't need to do. So okay, right. Scruff, how you doing? Excellent. Okay, so I've had the best part of 2 weeks off streaming now. Is it making a difference? I don't really think it does, to be honest with you. I suppose it's a bit relaxing. I think it was because it was kind of new, but I don't know. I'm on the fence as to whether it makes a difference. I don't think it does. It does feel quiet and a bit lonely. Now, as you guys know, I'm quite of a hyper type of person. Anyway, my memory keeps ticking over. And talking about what I'm seeing, I think kind of helps me. It's part of my process, I think. Sometimes I talk to myself, I chit-chat myself, I just go through scenarios or whatever, so it's kind of who I am, really. So I don't really think it makes a difference in my concentration. I think I'm up $134 this week on my account, per account, obviously. So it's been an absolute crap week, to be fair. There's just been nothing. I think I took a trade... I think I've taken 2 trades this week. No, 3. One I think I made $200. The other one I made $30 odd, and the other one I got out for break even plus a tick, I think. So it's been a poor week, I think. It's been tough. There's not been a lot of setups around. So it's just, I don't think it is making a difference whether I stream or not. Now, I prefer to stream because it kind of helps my process, and I like sort of, chatting through ideas and just general having a chat with a few people. As we know. Let me just check everything's open. Okay.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of my accounts I'm not trading, so everything's okay. For some reason yesterday, there is a triple testy. It's very tempting to take that. Trouble is, we've had a break, 2 attempts and a new loan. We couldn't get down there, so that may reverse. It's hard to say, really. You'd think that would normally work, but we got a channel up there, so I'm not convinced. What I will say, we've had this channel down, which I like. We've had a couple of legs up, and we've twice now tried to break the lows and couldn't. And sometimes it might just, I don't know, it might not continue to go down. It's a bit hard to say. 134, no friends. Yeah, I mean, it's 134 per account. It's times 7. I got 7 accounts, so. But it's just been, I don't know. Everyone I've spoken to says it's been tough lately. There's just not been a lot of setups. There's been a lot of chop. It's been quite slow. I mean, yesterday, we had that. That was all day yesterday. Usually, I can't fit that on a chart and read it, but it was just mainly up, down, up, down, up, down. I think I got into a trade yesterday, but I can't remember what it was. But obviously that was the earlier parts. But then up, down, there just wasn't a great deal. Something around here I very nearly got into. I think it was that one, but we won't. It's just a little choppy, so you don't know. I had this section here as a range. I think it was something like that. The trouble is, whenever we had a break out of a range, often we'll pull back, and we had a double top here. So my gut feeling was we're going to come back to the main, push down and break the lows, which we didn't, which I think is why I left that. The trouble is, I know Mac will mark a lot of these, but when you know what price did, it's easy. The trouble is, we have that leg down and break new low. We push up, we have a break and a new high. And we kind of make a second attempt. When we triggered that bull bar there, it came down. I thought I'm in the right here, and then it goes up. And it's once it starts to go sideways, my gut feeling that we could. We've had a double top there. we could kind of have a leg down. Now, often when we get a break out at the top of a range, we get a break out the opposite side, whether it's top or bottom, and that kind of would make sense. So I decided to leave that. But it's very easy to mark that as a high or low and a failure when you know price went up. Apart from that, it's near damn impossible. And that's half the battle in this business, getting the direction right. It's very easy for market to kind of look like it's doing one thing and it does a complete other, which is a bit of a ball ache. I have been looking at the CL chart as well, which I've got up here. I've been kind of looking at that as well. I mean, if there's not a lot of setups, what do? You know what I mean? You kind of got to just do, you got to kind of see what you can do. So the CL chart I got up here, I did something on a sim, but we had kind of a channel with a break and a new low. We had a channel with a break and a new high, and then obviously I was kind of looking for a possible failure, which we didn't get, but the thing just did dropped. So I'm looking at that as well. If I can get maybe one a week on that, 1 or 2 a week, and then 1 or 2 on my normal chart, there's possibilities. So incidentally, got an email last night. There's a 90% off on Apex. What the fees are the same. The lifetime fees, the PA fees are the same, but I think it's on for 4 or 5 days. 5 days including today. I didn't think we'd have a 90% off again, but I got an email. So I've got 2 dilemmas. I either stream kind of Fridays, or maybe I do an hour or an hour and a half each day. I do kind of like the peace and quiet. And when I say peace and quiet, it's peace and quiet from my own voice. My own voice can kind of wear me out sometimes, but it's kind of who I am. So I may just continue from Monday, just doing an hour, hour and a half a day. I do like the company. Anyway, Scruff, how you doing? FSN, how you doing, buddy? Tony, how are you? Russell, how you doing? I have chatted to a few people. I know I've chit-chatted to Karina this week, throughout the week, here or there, and a few others. Mario, how you doing, buddy? We're nursing a busted rib at the moment. I went fishing about, was it the weekend? Or it might have been Monday. I went carp fishing on Monday. And typical, first thing I usually do is set my net up. I didn't. I put my pod down, fling one of my rods out with my bait. It was in the water for about 20 seconds and a carp picked it up and it shot off like a rocket. So I had to unhook it with my hand, and I was leaning over this. It's like a flat bed and a couple of those railway sleepers. And I lifted the fish, well, tried to lift the fish.
Lost.
My left foot shot out behind me and I dropped down heavily on my ribs. And it's all kind of brown and bruised and black there. I've broke more ribs than any other bones, so I know what they're like. I broke dozens of them. I mean, literally, I did karate for 70 years. I've probably broken 4 or 5 times a year. Straight Lines Tattoo. Good to see you too, mate. How you doing, buddy? We'll miss you. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do an hour or hour and a half, 2 hours a day, something like that. It doesn't make a difference to my trading. I just, the first week I just tried to, but last week, it didn't make a bit of a difference. So I think I'm just going to continue. It is boring by yourself, I got to say. Yesterday, it was like watching bloody paint dry through part of this. I was just bored. And the trouble is, when I'm bored, I was getting up and walking away and doing a few things around the house. So at least when I'm here and I'm chatting, I'm focusing what I'm doing. But I tell you what, if any of you guys are having any type of headaches or achy eyes at the end of the day, change over to a darker screen. It's literally night and day. Excuse the pun, but I was finding my eyes were aching. I was getting headaches. I mean, literally within changing over to a darker screen, it disappeared completely. So if you do find yourself quite stressed and your eyes are tired and you find you get just a kind of a tired, thick head, change over to a darker. It's made a massive difference. I didn't realise how much of a difference it would make. I mean, I'm just looking at this at the moment. Even looking at that is giving me freaking my eyes out. I don't know whose chart that is, but it's just your eyes can just relax. So I am doing some currency trader as well. And I'm trading, just the reason I'm doing it or learning it is the guy I'm doing it with has been a currency trader for 20 years and he's very good at what he does. And he talks in pounds and pence. He doesn't talk in tens of thousands and stuff like that. There is 2 legs up there. I'm tempted to take that. Trouble is we never got down to the lows and that is worrying me. So this could pop up. I mean, it is a quadruple test, but what I will say is I'm getting a bad feeling about going long here. We had a break, 1 bounce, 2nd bounce. We got to the top, but we didn't get down here. So my gut feeling is there is a possibility we may get a move up. So I'm leaving this. Johnny, how you doing, bud? I'll show you. I don't think the guy will mind, but I'll show you the guy I'm learning from. He's a British currency trader. Scruff, his name is, the Scruffy Trader. He's actually a really nice guy. He's a genuine guy. It's that guy there, the Scruffy Trader. He's very good at what he does. As I say, he's been trading this same style. It's a little bit complicated. You know, you get your chart up and you mark off your levels, your monthly, your weekly, and your daily, and he trades kind of between levels. But he's a really nice guy, and as I say, he's been doing this for, I think it's £45 per month. But you put a comment out and he'll answer it. So if anybody is ever interested in doing any type of currency trading, look that guy up because he's very good. And they have a Zoom meeting Monday to Friday as well, so you can have a Zoom meeting with a dozen or so other traders, and if you've got any issues, he'll talk you through them. He's got a lot of time for people, so if anybody is interested in currency, look that guy up. So what's happening here? It's starting to go a little bit congested here, so that is just concerning me. Ordinarily it wouldn't look too bad, but as we've had this channel down and we've had a good bounce and a second bounce, often traders will maybe leave going short. This may go up, but then we went right up to the top and then we only got maybe just 3/4 of the way down and then it pulled back. Same again. So this is just worrying me that this just may pop up. Scruffy, great name. Yeah, Gary his name is, but he's a really nice bloke. Sam, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I think so, mate. For Monday, for an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, it's not really making a difference on my trading, in all fairness. It's just making no difference. It's still just as challenging. But I've got to say, I do find it boring by yourself. It's definitely nice to have a natter. So whether that is going up or not, I don't know. But the fact that we're going a bit sideways and we got 2 dojis would make me concerned about that. It may come down, but the fact that we've been up and we couldn't get down here for a 3rd time is just making me just sit tight. You can tell there's some uncertainty there, so that's not a good area to get into a trade. Whether it works or not is irrelevant. So just sit tight. So let's have a little look around. Let's have a look. Someone did take that trade. It's a risky one. Well, I mean, look at that. straight away. The fact that I think you've got to kind of look at this. It's more common sense than anywhere. We know market likes to move in twos, and we had this channel down. I like this. It fits nice. I've got no issues with that. We had one push up, second push up. We had a good strong move down, and we could not break those lows. And then we had a second go at it, and we couldn't break the lows. Often after twice, traders will just give up and turn the other way. So, and the fact that was another indicator we could not get down the bottom there. That was another indicator that it may go up. There's no guarantees, which means I would leave that alone. As kind of nice as it may have been in a different scenario, but with this going up, if you're in that now, you'd be pretty nervous, wouldn't you? So, yeah, there's probably I can see one person who took that. Well, it may work. Sometimes if it's a strong enough position, it may hold. There you go. I was going to say, I bet that guy, I couldn't believe his luck when he saw that drop. I won't name any names. How you doing, mate? How you doing, Lance? What is going on today? So slow. Yeah, it's been a lot like this lately, isn't it? I suppose a lot of people talk about summer hours, don't they? Summer trading hours. I suppose typically between that kind of July and August time, people tend to take their holidays, don't they? So I suppose there's less people at the charts, less people buying. People go away and enjoy the summer a bit, don't they? So that's the only thing I can put it down to. So just looking at this CL chart, I'm not trading it with a live account. I'm just looking at one as sim, but we've had a measured leg, a nice measured leg down there, and you can see it's clearly bouncing there. So there's a big bearish bar there, lower high, which is triggered. So there's a possibility this may move up. I'm just looking at this chart again, but I'm only trading it just on a sim just to get a bit more of a feel for it. But I'm just not seeing many trades on the ES. So if you can get an extra trade or two for a week on this, happy days. So what's going on here? We have had that bearish, we had that bullish bar there that moved up. We had 3 touches there. That worked for a couple of points or whatever, 2.5, 3 points. That was another one as well. I left that one alone purely and simply because we're struggling to get down here. So it shot up and I thought any second now it went right up to the top, didn't break it and then dropped a bearish bar, but then it's pushed back up again now. So my gut feeling is it's probably going to take, there's bound to be some short stops right the way along there. So I'll be amazed if it doesn't. Mind you, I'd have said the same there, but I think it will. It's trying to. Yeah, so if you would have taken that, you wouldn't have got much out of it. I think it only went down a point and a half, point a bit, maybe not even that, to be fair. You wouldn't have even got a point out of that. It's got to push through, so you'd have had to it. That ATR has been, it's not too bad today, but it has been super low this week. So too risky that is, especially after we've had 2 pushes down and we could not break below these lows. And then obviously this moved down. So it's kind of making sense that if it's struggling to go down, why kind of argue with it? You might as well just ignore it and then let it do its thing. Try the CL every day. It's really choppy lately. Very scary. Yeah, I mean, somebody mentioned it to me about 1.5 years ago, and I played around with it for a bit, and it was okay. But it's like anything; you can pick any chart up, can't you? And it can look really good, and then straight away you're thinking, "Oh, that's worth trading." But I suppose it's like any other chart. There are times when it produces a trade, and there aren't. But what I will say is, I do spend a lot of time sat doing nothing here, so. If it's not too difficult and not too confusing, I don't think it's a bad idea trading something else. I wouldn't be trading a lot of them, but I think a couple of different charts. You know, if this is chopping around, you can pretty much have a glance at that, can't you, and realise it's pretty untraded at the moment. But another chart may be a little bit different. But I know Marco messaged me maybe 3 or 4 months ago and said he'd started trading it and he was having some luck with it. But, you know, it's a toss of a coin. You may have a good day on the NASDAQ, you may have a good day on the ES, whatever you trade, really. Sean, how you doing? I'm okay, mate. I'm all right. It's not streaming. I had to kind of try it just to see if it would make a difference. A few people said to me they think it might make a difference to my trading. Not my trading was bad. It was more about my kind of I mean, markets aren't easy at the moment. You've got to sit around a lot longer for a trade. And sometimes, whether it's doing this all day, it can get a little bit frustrating. And sometimes that leads to a cheap trade. Something like that, a little bit impulsive, not thinking clearly. You know, sometimes the frustration gets the better of you, and it's very easy to take an impulsive trade and it backfires on you. So I think the order of the day really is just to sit and wait for something very obvious. But I was listening to a trader last night, and I've heard this before, but you tend to forget. What he says, when he is looking at a trade, he looks for reasons not to take it, not that reasons to take it. When you've been trading a while, you can pretty much look at something and go, I like that. And we all see those trades that kind of jump out and wave in front of us, and you think, I like that, and you can't click the button quick enough. They kind of take care of themselves, but when you don't get one for a while, it's very easy to manufacture a trade in your head. Yeah, it's very easy to manufacture a trade in your head and take it on impulse when the patience have got the better of you a little bit and you end up getting unstuck. So, I mean, the simple fact is there's not a lot of trades around at the moment. You are going to sit for longer. So it's just kind of how it is, really, isn't it? It's a bit frustrating, of course, but, you know, my patience is pretty good, but you don't know really at what point your patience starts to slip that you maybe not be fully aware of. And you think, oh, I'll have a go at this, as opposed to waiting for one to jump in front of you. But because we're not getting many of them, sometimes that kind of impulsive nature, especially when we're trading faster markets, kind of sometimes take over, and you can end up in and out of a trade and it's gone against you before you've really had time to sort of make a valid decision. So we've had that push up, it's cleared 1, 2, 3 stops. Did it clear that? I mean, it still could come down, but it's made, yeah, as it's cleared any liquidity here. Obviously depends how far you put your stop, but there was 3, there's bound to be liquidity above there, and it's cleared that out, and as it happens, that as well. So it may be now pushed down, I don't know. Let me just reload my data. I'm not sure. I'm looking at someone else's chart here, and it's looking a bit different than mine. That doesn't make any difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the color there. Trouble is, it's going up, but not at a really strong angle, and that would tell me it still could drop. If you think about it, there's going to be a lot of liquidity under these levels, and maybe that's enough to keep those sellers from pushing this down. But we did have this strong move down, and in a way it kind of looks like a bear flag, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like a kind of a bearish wedge. I know I don't trade patterns, but I have got a Got one of these, which I bought a year or so ago, 6 months ago. It's just one of those giant mouse mats with just trading patterns on. So if I see something that I recognise, it's just nice to be aware. I wouldn't trade it based on that, but it's nice to be aware that how accurate are these things sometimes. So there is a possibility we could have a second leg down here. I expected it too, because there's bound to be liquidity. We've broken the highs of yesterday, and the lows aren't a million miles away. So if we had a second leg down, that would clear out these lows. So there is a possibility we could come down, but it is just that. Kind of does look like a bearish wedge, doesn't it? I mean, I don't trade them, but it kind of does look like it. Have your trading improved ever? The first week, yeah, little bits of times, yeah, but I just think it's just luck of the draw. It's been a crap week, to be fair. I'm up about $134, I think I looked, for the week. So my concern was that it may affect my concentration. A couple of people said they think it may. But after doing this now for the best part of 2 weeks, it doesn't really make a difference. Some people, I think it will affect them. But yes, I know I'm sat here talking to you guys, but I'm also focusing what I'm doing. I'm marking this chart up at the moment, so I can pretty much talk and do this at the same time. So I think perhaps I'm one of those it might not necessarily affect. That's fitting kind of nice. If I need to focus, I just block out the words for a second. So it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest with you. I don't think so. So I'm going to continue as normal next week. I'll tell you what I have noticed, so it's definitely bloody quiet. Even it's nice to have a bit of music, but after a while, it really felt like I've been streaming now for over 2.5 years, every single day. So I felt a bit lost last week. It felt too different. It's nice to have a little break because it's different, isn't it? But it didn't make a difference last week, you know. I think because I've been doing it that long now, I think it's neither in or there, really. CL, none at the moment, mate. I'm just trading on a sim just to kind of get a feel for it. But I think I just would have traded it just with the one. So we're on a sim here. Let me just check. I'm just opening a sim. Yeah. If I say got in here for a trade, I think it was 10 points or 10 ticks that Marco suggested. So that's kind of about right. 120 risk, 120 profit, give or take. So it's kind of where I got that set. But I haven't traded this for a long time. So rather than having a bit of money on this and something on, I just thought it might be complicated. So all I'm going to do is just leave this on a sim. And, you know, if I see something, I'll just take it in. Yeah, I know it's part of trading, and I've got no issues with sitting here at all, none at all. I know it's part of it. I'd rather sit here for 3 hours a day than go out and work for 10 or 12 hours a day, which is what I used to do before. But But I do like the company, to be honest with you. And I think that's why a lot of traders hook up with me, just because they're, it's a bit boring by themselves. So if if you've got someone else to listen to and have a chat with it, you can kind of exchange ideas and charts. And you were thinking of giving it a go. Yeah, I mean, I think who was it that said there's a guy on Mac's forum that's been trading a long time. I think he's one of Mac's old timers. I think his name is Eric, and he mentioned it that he'd been trading it a while, maybe a year or so ago, and he has some success with it. If I was getting at least one trade on here, excuse me. If I was getting at least one trade in, I'd be quite happy with that. But sometimes I'll sit down here and there'll be nothing. So I don't think it's a bad thing having a second chart. If we get nothing on this, what do? Do you take no trades? You make no money? Or do you maybe put something else in? So, but I think it was, so I've gone for 12 ticks. Let me just bring it in. I normally trade 12 ticks. So if I sell this, let's say I sell that there, depending on where it finishes. So that's where I've got there. So there's that signal bar there. So I'm a couple of ticks above it, above the bottom. So let's add 2. So if I was a tick below the signal bar there, I'd be risking $120 there on one contract on that signal bar. And then obviously you put your profit. I think it's more about getting your risk right. Your profit you can adjust. But so if this entry was 2 ticks, it would be a tick below. And if this was 2 ticks down, it would be a tick above. So 120 risk, per, which is, it's a little bit less than I'm risking on here. So on the ES at the moment, I'm risking 3 points. Thereabouts, and going for 3 points, which is about 150. So yeah, one contract on there for 10 ticks is very similar. It works very similar. But if it's like anything, we got 2 legs down here. I don't know. It's still a bit choppy. Maybe that is a channel with a break, and now it's going to push up. Yes, now it's done that. See, that just, something about this I don't like. It's choppy, and one thing I've learned, where conditions are at the moment, just stay out of this. I've got no desire to change in this. See, you think, no, that's going on. All of a sudden, within a split second, it's down. Now, you haven't been stopped out as yet, but you were only a tick away from it. So now, as I say, it could also be a bearish wedge, which means I'm not really a pattern trader, but they are out there and people do talk about them for a reason. So if you look at that, we're going across, we're going down and up. So that, can I do an infill here? I think I can, can't I? That's what I've got on my chart as a bearish wedge, which means it'll bounce between there and then it'll drop. So we may get a second leg down here. So I'm just sitting tight anyway. There's nothing that's interesting me trading this. So I'm just going to get a quick drink. I've got a bit of a dry, tickly throat here. Excuse me a sec. So I'm nursing a busted rib as well, so that's... I'm just going to put a quick break on here just for a few minutes. And I'm going to go make myself a drink. I've got a bit of a tickly throat here, so I'm just going to leave that with you just for 3 to 5 minutes. Nothing I'm doing at the moment. It's just chopping up. So So whether it is we've had a break and it's going to go up, who knows? May come down here and flush this lot out. So I'm just going to leave that on there. We got no news anyway, so I'm going to step off for a few minutes. So I'll be back. Okay. Trouble is, as soon as I step off from that camera, it just picks up that light behind me and darkens the foreground, so it should sort itself out. It is now. Okay, let's have a look. So, if it is a channel, which is possible, we've had 2 legs down, a little double bounce. So if you did get in there, you did manage to stave that off, that little attack off. And then we've pushed up and we're a tick or so from... So we could have a leg, a pullback and a push. It's hard to say at the moment, but it could just as well be sideways. Fact, I'd say now this is more sideways for me, I think. For some reason, I can still not open Rhythmic. I've tried everything and I cannot figure for the life of me. Look, I've got it open there. Watch, just disappears. I've got no idea. Now, I've only got one account with Apex anyway. The rest are with... I got 5 with Traderfy and 1 with my Take Profit Trader. So I've only got the 1, but I can't bring myself to get any more until I can get that sorted out, because I don't know whether they've closed, whether they're closed down for sure. On the rare occasion they can show their ugly head. So I know it's 90% off at the moment, and ordinarily I'll be getting a few more, but I can't bring myself to having any more until I can, for some reason, figure out how to get Rhythmic working. I'm leaving this lower high here. There's something about this I don't like. Now, we've had 3 bounces now, so this may go up. We've got a channel there with the break. That hasn't played out now. It may come down, it may not, but I've been trapped in these before, so I'm sitting tight. Yeah, for some reason I just cannot open up. I've tried deleted it. I've even upgraded to Windows 11. Nothing seems to make a damn bit of difference. I've got into trouble with these before, so just be a bit careful of that. As we've had a bunch of bounces, it could push up. Let's just get rid of that chart for now. Jan, how you doing, my friend? Thank you, mate. I'm carrying on as normal, I think. I might do a shorter day, but it really hasn't made a difference. my trading, to be fair. I've had I'm just as crap when I'm not streaming, to be honest with you. It's not been a brilliant week. I am up a little, 130 odd per account, but it's been hard lately. I've really had to focus on being just extra disciplined and patient. There's just not a lot going around at the moment, is there? So I know people do talk about summer trading hours. I can't remember from year to year. But no, it is quite quiet being by yourself. It's kind of a novelty, I think, but the novelty wears off. Okay, so yeah, we didn't get a lower high. Well, we did, but it never triggered. I know I'm glad it never triggered, because I think that would have upset a few people. So whether there is a channel up there now when it's finally... It's certainly possible. Channel working up with a break, 2 legs down, a retest, 2 legs up to a new high. So if there is a channel, that's played out. So maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know. I think it's certainly good to be aware, but one push up, second push up. I don't know. Would you want to go short? It's hard to know. It wouldn't be a bad short trade, that, to be fair. It's cleared out any liquidity, channel break, new high. But if it is going up, you never know kind of what it's going to do. It's kind of a second entry short, isn't it? It's 30 degrees in Norway, is it really? I'm going to say Norway's quite a bit further north than the UK. What have we got here? 25, 20, 24 degrees. That's unusually hot, isn't it, for Norway? Obviously, you know, Norway's known for their winters, aren't they? And obviously you're closer to the North Pole. And generally, the closer you get to the poles, the colder it is. I'd have to take a lower high here. You've got to be a little bit careful. Have you changed your mind? Do you enjoy the no stream? I think it was a novelty. It really hasn't made a difference to my trading. But it's like anything. When you do something different, there's a certain element that when you're by yourself, you can kind of put your feet up, play a bit of music, and just kind of do what you want. But it really hasn't made a difference. I think it just happened to a little bit of time that I was trading after hours. I just got a bit lucky, or just happened to get a trade, but it's really not made a difference. But I was chatting with it was Karina last week, and I said it feels pretty lonely. So I might try and do a bit of both. I might have a shorter day. I may just trade for an hour and a half or something, and then I have that little bit of time where I can maybe put a bit of music on. But it's really not making any difference, to be honest with you. When you're trading in front of people, there's always that element that people are seeing what you're doing. So I think sometimes I don't feel stupid when I lose a trade, but there's certainly an element of that you want to win a trade when people are watching you. So maybe that applies that little bit of pressure, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I wonder if any of you guys take that. Let's have a look on the Discord. I don't think many took it. Marco said not a fan. I mean, it is working. I mean, it looks like it could certainly work. We've got a channel moving up. We've got a 2-legged break, a retest, 2 pushes up to a new high, and a bearish bar, which has cleared that liquidity. But it's one of those things, isn't it? I don't think it's the worst trade in the world at all. It's just, the trouble is, when you take trades and it's like this, sometimes they can go against you. And when they do, you kind of get very suspicious about something that kind of looks like that. I can't see any charts of people taking that. now. No, I don't think many people took it. I don't think it was terrible if you like, if you're more inclined with a range. But this bit, yeah, it's ranging, but look at the bottom, it's lifting up, and then we have that break, we have a new high. And sometimes when we have a channel with a break and a new high, it may move in the opposite direction. But then we've had a bounce there at the open, stroke midline, and another possible bounce. So it may go up. The thing is, it depends how many points you go for, whether this will work, you know, whether this will work. It certainly went for a scalp, but I don't think it went for a lot more. So you'd have got 2.25 points there. I go for 3, which would have to get down here. So, you know, if you went for 2 points, you did okay there. But, what have I got on my wrist? This is just a... it's just from Amazon. This, mate, was £100. I just kind of wear this the days and wear me Tudor. This was £100. Me Tudor was a few thousand. So it's just it's called a Pagani. It's just like I think it's... I can't afford the Rolex, so this is kind of... It's, well, they call it an homage to I think it's the Hulk or the Starbucks or whatever they call them. But no, it's only cheap. It's only £100, mate, it was. I just can't afford a Rolex. I bought this Tudor a few years ago, but I can't afford a Rolex. I wish I could. I think Rolex is... there are a couple of them I like, but I just... I mean, the one I like is £13,000. It's a stupid amount of money. What, this one? It's actually it's supposed to be an homage to a Rolex. It's very, very close to it. I don't know if you can see it. It's the Rolex. I think they call it the Hulk. Tudor's nice, yeah. That's the Tudor. It's the Black Bay GMT. Nice, heavy watch. I like a heavy watch. I've had a few Omegas in the past. Going back some years, I had an Omega Seamaster, the mid-size one, about 20 years ago. Then I had the automatic about 5 years after that, and then I had the Moonwatch in the... I got that one about 7 or 8 years ago in a presentation box. Beautiful watch with a Hesselite crystal, but I sold that to buy a van to start a business. But I kept the... I'd love a Rolex. I'd love the Pepsi, the GMT, but I haven't got £13,000. Not only that, it's trying to get one. You pay more money for a second-hand one than you do a new one. They're not selling them unless you're a good customer or there's a massive waiting list. I'm not a jewellery person, but I do love watches because of the mechanics. There is a guy I watch on YouTube, actually, which people send him watches and he takes them apart and refurbish them. And there was one recently, it was the Pepsi, actually. There was a guy who lost his father, and his father had it on his wrist for 30 years, and it was the most battered watch I've ever seen. And he took it all apart, cleaned it, but just the engineering that goes into the watch I had, the Moonwatch, was a mechanical watch. You wind it up. And I just think all the little parts that go together to make this kind of little bundle of stuff that, you know, just works is amazing. I've always been a watch fan. But some watches you can pay huge amounts of money when if you're talking about your Pateks and stuff like that, you can pay huge amounts of money. But maybe one day, you never know. Maybe one day. This is unusual. This isn't, mind you, I say it's unusual. There was a lot of yesterday was cut. We did have these little swings, but it was pretty much a kind of sort of blown out version of that, but this is just, it's hard to trade this really. You know, I suppose if you think about it logically, if you call that a lower high, you may trade that. I don't know. That one I stared out of, you'd have got a couple of points. I mean, the setup was kind of there to a degree. We got a channel with a break and a new high. Often a bar like that, we'll come back to the EMA, but because we had this with a break, 2 legs up to a new high, for me, you've got to give this a bit of space and figure out what it wants to do. But as for a setup, it wasn't that bad. But, you know, I don't know, if you bought that bullish bar from the bottom, it worked. If you bought that bullish bar from the bottom, it worked. If you bought that bullish bar, it worked. And same with the shorts, that one, and that one, you made money. So, you know, it kind of works like it should as a range. Trouble is, there's not a huge amount of distance from the top to the bottom. And I go for, as we know, what is there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 7 points, just under 7 points. I go for 3, it's got it 3 1/4, which is nearly half, so I've got to try and capture half of that movement. So I've never really been a fan of trading ranges unless it's lower highs or higher lows. Hmm. 30 degrees in Norway. You want to get yourself, mind you, you don't really get weather like that. I bought myself one of those little portable air conditioning units. It was about £220 odd, I think. I bought it last year. And you obviously got a pipe to, you know, transport the heat out the window. And I just bought a piece of Perspex. And I cut it to shape and bolted it in and just Velcroed it. And we've had, I think the hottest we've had this year is 32 degrees centigrade, but they do say we're going to have a lot warmer weather lately. But when it's 25 or so in your bedroom, it's pretty hot and sticky, but that makes one hell of a difference. You can sleep. You know, I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning shivering. It's that good, but it's a nice kind of cold. You know, the bed covers and the quilt cover and that is nice and chilled. It's lovely. It's the best investment I've bought, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I fact I was reading an article this morning about they're selling more and more air conditioning units in the UK now because temperatures generally, what with global warming and that, are supposed to just be slowly getting hotter and hotter. But when you do have a sticky week or two, there's nothing worse than a sleepless night, especially if you've got to go out and work all day and you've had 5 hours of miserable tossing and turning sleep. So they are quite pleasant to have. But, you know, 30 degrees in Norway, it doesn't really happen. Obviously, the further north you go, the colder it gets as a rule. And if you ask about what is Norway known for, it's weather, snow, I suppose. Snow and northern lights, I suppose, the first two things that come to mind. So maybe it's not, you won't get a lot for your money or a lot of relief for your money in Norway. What is this doing here? There's not much you can really do here. Oh. Okay, Thomas Wade took that. So he had his stop to break even around about here. I don't know how he got that far back. I'm not sure how he did that. I don't think you'll mind me bringing this in. Look at this trade here. Can anybody spot something that's not right there? So normally you get in there, wouldn't you? Yeah, sorry, my mistake. He's got out. It's obviously gone down, isn't it? So if he'd gone at 825, 725, 625, normally 2 points, I think, at the moment. So he's got his scalp there, and obviously his runner didn't work. But as I say, as a trade, I like the trade. My only slight concern is the possibility of a move up. But it's one of those things, isn't it? You just never quite know. But if we look at the chart now, my suspicions were right. This to me doesn't look like it's still ranging, and obviously we're out the top. We've come back and bounced and we're out. So my gut feeling that this was losing traction. So fortunately he got his 2 points there, and he didn't have a lot of space there, so normally he's pretty good at getting in on limit orders, but I'm guessing looking at that he got in a tick below, which is there. So 2 points he would have got, so he's only just got that, but you know, win's a win, isn't it? He's got his profit, but if it had been a little bit shyer there, it would have come back and stopped him out. So the setup itself I think was okay, but there is what looks like a channel with 2 legs, 2 pushes to a new high, so I wouldn't short that. You've got to give that a little bit of time now. It wouldn't have worked for me, and I'd have been right to leave it, because you just, you know, it's playing up like a channel. You can see it's coming away slowly from that bottom, and then we have a nice correction. 2 pushes up to a new high. Setup looked nice, but the fact is that small uptrend has played out now, so you need to give us a little bit of breathing space to figure out what it wants to do. And my concern was that it does push higher, so I'm happy I let that one go, because it would have stung me. I can see it's tempting, but it's this bit that's kept me out, which means it's losing its downward momentum. So I got mixed signals. 1 minute it just looks completely sideways, but then is it? You know, it is kind of working. You can see how nice it's working off there. You can see it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll count that 9, 10. You can clearly see it's bouncing off that level there. So you have to at least keep in mind that there may be a channel. And then when we have this correction and a push up with a break and a new high, that's kind of played out. So that's the trouble. I think the longer you've been trading, sometimes the more particular you get. I don't know whether it helps you sometimes. How's Nutty doing today? He's taking a bit. What's it is doing really well lately. I messaged him yesterday, actually. Alpine. Got to take your hat off to that guy. He can recover. He can blow up all his accounts and recover and do really well. He's up green again. He's absolutely. I'm going to bring him in actually, because he's impressing me, because he really seemed to struggle, but to see him do this every day, I mean, look, 1, 2, 3. He's got about 9,000 just out of those PAs. They are slightly larger. And they are PAs, but look, I mean, he's got from 200 to 4, 5, 700. He's really impressing me lately, because I seen him not so long ago blow all his accounts, and he just kept hitting his stop when he was struggling. But I mean, look how much he's got in some of those accounts. He's had a great June, and he's going to have another good July as well. So fair dues to him. Credit where credit's due. He went for a really tough time a while ago. He just couldn't seem to win trades. Everything was going against him. But I think conditions are hard at the moment. But if you're making money in these conditions, he's doing something right. I think he's gone back to his open range breakout. So hats off to him. Fair dues to him. He's doing well. I got respect for anybody who makes money in these markets, because I know how bloody hard it is. So I would say now, I think there's a chance we may larger channel up here. But there's kind of a triple test there. I think there's a fair chance if that triggers, that'll at least come back to that EMA, but it's a bit of a box. So I'm not a massive fan of that. There's not much space to the EMA. That's if it triggers. You're barely going to get a point of profit there. If it does break below there, I think there's a good chance we get back there, but it doesn't look like it wants to. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm going to pick myself up. I might pick myself up a 150 account. I'll tell you what is a pain in the arse with Apex, having to do that two-factor authentication every bloody time you want to log in. You just see how much they are. 90% off. how much they are. $39 for the 150. It's not too bad, is it? Be bored, I know. Who'd have guessed? The thing is, trading, it can be boring at times, and I mean, look, it's really in that section there. There's not really much you can trade now. Where's the open? The open's about here, so we've had to sit through that. So there's not really a lot you can do. Now, if you're scalping for a point, it may not look as bad. That you'd expect it to get back to the EMA, which it did. I don't know, maybe when it's like this, maybe that's the call. Just scalp for a little bit less. But I kind of feel if I'm risking the same amount of money, I want to wait for something, because if I go for a point, all I've got to do is find one trade. Where scouting for a point, I've got to take 3 trades. So I think sometimes I'd just rather wait for that good trade and just go trying to, capitalise rather than have the same amount of risk. But, that's one of those things, isn't it? So I am going to pick up one of those. I'm just wondering if there's any news next week. I kind of like trading those 150 ones at the news, because you can't make 9,000 of them, which is quite a lot. Let's see what news we got on Monday. How long's it on for? I think it ends Tuesday, so we're okay. Calendar. Not a lot, really. When's CPI? That's got to be due sometime. I suppose you could buy it and just keep it. That's no issues once you bought it, I think. It's about the amount of pay for it, really, isn't it? The what's it doesn't generally change, does it? The fees. They usually keep the fees the same, I think, after, because it forces you to do it quick otherwise. Let's have a look. You got port. There is a few bits of news Thursday. Jolt's job openings doesn't really do much. I'm not sure, but I picked up a take profit trader account, and that cost me, I think, $102 all in. Which it works out about £75 English. I think that's a good deal. There's something that put me off my funded futures. I can't remember what it was now. There's something you can't do on there. Somebody mentioned this a while ago. There's some rule that I didn't like. There's 2 companies that I don't like. The one, well, I say don't like. The one I won't use is Bullanox, purely and simply because you can only copy trade. You can't copy trade. Bullanox won't allow you. I don't know how they know, but there was something about my fund of futures. There's some rule on my fund of futures that I can't remember what it is. I think partly it's an 80-20 split, I think, isn't it? Whereas Take Profit Trader is a 90-10. There was something else. I can't remember what it was now. It'll come to me. But I have, there's my Take Profit one there. I did a bit there which just pushed it over the mark. I got another 1 day to trade, so I can trade a micro. Doesn't matter whether I win, I'll open it and close it, and that'll keep me above the 53,000. My biggest day was, I think,
Connection
1,300 or something like that. Why is that? So I think it's only the second Take Profit Trader I've had, I think. What I like about Take Profit Trader, and I'm hoping more and more companies, once you get over the 2,000, your buffer, there's no consistency rule. You can kind of earn whatever you want, I believe. And also, you can take, so if you took a trade and you made $300, you can withdraw it. If you take a trade tomorrow and make $300, you can withdraw it. So you can take daily payments. So I like that. I think it's a bit, I like that. I'm hoping more and more companies do that. The good thing about having more of these prop firms out there, they're all trying to beat each other for business. It's great. Been taken. Yeah, I like the idea of that. So if you've got a bunch of accounts, you know, you could let some, just keep it right. Yeah. It's 2,000 buffer, I think, isn't it? And I think I'm pretty sure the consistency rule goes as well. So if you're a swing trader, or you might buy down here and you might try for risk 1 to make 4 or something. It's hard with certain companies because of the consistency rule. Apex is not too bad, 40%, but Tradeify, I've got 5 Tradeify accounts and there's a 20% rule. So I suppose on the one hand, it does make you trade more sensible. On mine, I could make $600 profit in a day, which it's still a fair amount of money for a smaller account. But that consistency rule, once you hit a certain amount, and it makes sense. What they don't want is people trying to, go for great big sweeps, make a bit of money, So I kind of get why they have that. Yeah, so straight to... Yeah, I mean, I've got 5 Tradeify accounts. I've got mixed feelings in a way, because they are a little bit more money. I think they work out at $330, so you've got to be a little bit careful. Not sensible. Yeah. I mean, you can certainly trade a bit more risk on these, because it's, you may have the equivalent of 2,500 to play with, but it hasn't cost you that much. It's cost you 1/10 of that, depending on. So, but I think it's good to maybe have a few Apex, have a few. I wouldn't even consider going down the Tradeify route until you can at least make a bit of money, because it's too expensive. Stick to the cheaper ones. But if you can make money, it is a good way. You pay, what is it, $1,500 thereabouts, $1,600, and you've got 5 live accounts. If you can make money, and you've got a strategy that you're patient with, and you can make money, it's a good deal, I think. The payment you get for one of them it will cover all those costs, no problem whatsoever of buying all. You can get $2,000 when you get to 3. So if you take $2,000 for one of those accounts, it's covered the $1,600 it costs you to buy them all. So, but as I say, if you're still new, stick with the Apexes. Apex at the moment is 90% off, but even things like Bullanox, because when you're new, you only want to be trading one. evaluation anyway. So you want as cheap as you can until you can start making money. Yeah, the 25,000 account are okay. Absolutely. I think the 50 are the most popular, but the 25 is okay as well. Yeah, absolutely. We've all got slightly different ways. I mean, if you've got more excess, money sat around, then, you can maybe go for the large ones. What I will say is I think the 100,000, 150,000, you've got to make $9,000 before you get a payment. Yeah, that's a lot to make. And then you can withdraw 2,700. Then you've got $7,000 or $6,500 still sat in there. So this is a slow day today, but where are we now? We're coming to the end of July. We've only really got another month or so. In fact, we've discussed this before. A lot of people say things improve when September comes, which is only really 5 weeks away, 5.5 weeks away. So that'll soon fly. So it's just a matter of keeping that patience through times like this. Very easy to get sucked into taking trades. You may get away with them sometimes, but other times they'll get you into trouble. In fact, if you bought any bullish bar off the bottom, with the exception of that one, it would have worked whether you bought that one, even that one. Each time they closed higher. So any bullish bar off the bottom would have worked. Bearish bar would have worked. Bearish bar would have worked. Even that one, really, you'd have got at least a couple of points out of. And that one as well, a couple of points a few people took there. So it's not as trappy as it can be. These can be really trappy. They can constantly be overlapping each other. But even if you took that one, it came back. It didn't push high till here. So you had plenty of opportunities to get out. So sometimes when it is like this, really congested, it can be trappy as hell. But that doesn't look too bad. So let's have a look what's going on here. Trouble is, if that is like that, this could possibly be a failed breakout. I don't think it is, because we've already pushed out. We've already come back, touched the top and pushed up again. So there may be a small micro there with a drop and a break. Trouble is, I just find trades at the moment so untrustworthy. We have pushed down and touched support there. You can see it bounce there and there, so that may work. It's very tempting. Technically, by the count, it's not a second entry long, but you can see a little micro with a break and a new push down. I will say it's had a little bounce off support. I don't know, I'm just a bit I mean, let's call that one test. So we've got max. There's max chart there. Pretty much what we've got, really. That's exactly the same, in all fairness. I mean, I've got that drawn that, but that's irrelevant anyway. So yeah, he's pretty much looking at the same thing we all are. Okay, so that is a hidden second entry long. It may work. There is some support along there, so sometimes that may work, but I'm sitting tight here. There's just something about this I don't like. It's quite a common entry, retested initial balance high and then a breakout, yeah. It doesn't even look like it's going to trigger, to be fair. I'd have preferred it a little bit smaller. It's 11 ticks, tick above, tick below. It's, but it's just, it looks like it's stacking up. I don't think that's going to close above there anyway. I will say, we had that leg down there with a break and a new low. There'd have been buyers buying that, I dare say, trying to run that up to the top. And if you look, the next time we came down, didn't get here. This time we came down, we didn't get here. This time we came down. Every single time we touched the base there, it was a tiny fraction higher, whether it was a tick or two, and then it just took off. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously strong buyers down here. The fact that this just couldn't get below, because we're not a million miles away from yesterday's lows. We pushed up strong, broke yesterday's highs, and took a big fall. I thought a couple of legs up, leg down, clear yesterday's highs. It may still, you just don't know, but the fact that this really struggled to get below there tells me that there's, you know, there's more buyers in here trying to prop this thing up, I think. So that bar didn't trigger there anyway, so we couldn't take it really if we want to. Why it doesn't make a difference if that one goes, I don't know, but if that one couldn't. But at the moment, I'm just a little bit unsure. There's definitely some support along there. And you see we nicked there right on top of all this, and obviously, yeah, what once was resistance becomes support, so... You entered at 41.10, did you? Oh, it missed your limit. It missed it by a tick, did it? I mean, you can see we got a little micro there with a break and a new low. I mean, you got to look at the whole picture. The old picture, you can see there is some support there, but as we say, you know, often when we're bouncing off resistance, when you push above it, it becomes support. I'm just not sure how I feel about this at the moment. I got you. I don't know, the slower this becomes, the more choppy it is, the more untrustworthy. It's like anything. If you've got it, the more you sit here, when it chops around and takes out gets very trappy, the more trust issues you can have. And sometimes when you see a good trade, I tend to get the feeling, why is there a good trade here? This isn't happening much. And you get a little bit suspicious. I don't know, perhaps it's just human nature, isn't it? This trap after trap after trap, and it's choppy as hell. And then all of a sudden you get a trade, your natural instinct is, we'll steady on, what's going on here? But sometimes you miss out. So you kind of just have to, if you do see a good setup, regardless of how surprised you are, you've really just got to take it. If it's generally a good setup, regardless of what's happened last week, last month, as choppy as it can be, you have to still take it. But the natural instinct is to be suspicious, especially when you've had a lot of time. I mean, I watched bits of Bart. I chat with Bart. Bart's been battered lately. I think the last 6 or 7 trades, he's won one of them. Now, Bart is a guy that just gets in. He doesn't let the trades, scare him off. But you can tell how trappy it's been. Trading this sort of style, really high probability trades, you wouldn't expect to lose 5 or 6 out of 7. But it's just one of those things, is it? You should spend some time looking at flow. Looking at order flow. Yeah, I've kind of tried before a little bit. The thing is now I've been watching Mac now for about 4 years. I've been trading Mac stuff for a little bit over 4 years. All he ever uses is pure price action and the EMA, and it works. And I know people like Dan does well out of it, so you don't generally need it. And I know everyone's strategy is kind of different. Some people who use it may believe in it, but who knows whether it really helps you. Maybe it would. I have kind of tried to look at it once or twice before, but sometimes I think order flow, you've either got to focus, otherwise you struggle to get it in, because it was the guy I follow, the Asian guy. He's got like thick black hair. He's done really well. He's a nice guy. I like him. I forget his name now. I can't remember. He uses it and he said he swears by it. But I know he goes for bigger swings, so I don't know whether it's more suited to bigger swings or holding a position for longer. Whereas how I trade, it's kind of generally 3 points and you're in and out. So whether it's hard to say, isn't it, really? Put it this way, what I will say is any type of thing that you learn in this business, I think, can only complement. I don't think it's going to do you any harm. There's so much. See that big bullish bar there now? This, for me, is likely to get stopped out. It looks like this may come down and retest there, and that will be a prime example of a stopping. Because there'd about been trades in there. I left it alone. I didn't like it. There was reasons to take it, but there's just something about this I do not like. So whether it'll hold or whether it'll flush down, I don't know. But what I will say now is this is stacking up now. And once you've gone up there and it's come back down and you're maybe a point and a half away, you've got to be a bit nervous. So, but we may get a higher low and that may push up. But there's just something about this. You may say shoulder, head, shoulder, which is a bearish pattern, but it's choppy. It's a little bit untrustworthy. It can be a bit trappy at times. So at the moment, I'm waiting for something that jumps in front of me in waves, rather than trying to work out, well, if this did this, it may do that. You know what I mean? 1 minute when it's chopping, I'd say this is vulnerable. It may come down and touch this line, which clears out liquidity, maybe here, and I don't know, who knows. I mean, I'm making my own decisions here by saying it may do this, it may do that. Call them experienced or educated guesses, but you can't trade based on what you think. It's nice to have that thought process that what's going on, because it's nice to understand, why traders do the things they do, but you know, when I say it looks like this, I certainly only trade what I see, not so much what I think is going to happen. It's trappy because you have the information. Yeah. Although I haven't seen a lot of traps here today. I mean, if we start here, bullish bar off the bottom, you made money. If you bought that bullish bar, which is off the bottom, you still made money. That one, you still made money eventually. That one, you made money. It did come down, but it didn't break it. So any bullish bar off the bottom worked and you never got trapped. Short there worked. Short there worked. Short there worked. Lower high worked. Short there worked. All this worked comfortably for at least 2 points. So it's not as trappy as it kind of looks. Usually when it's like this, it's full of traps, but this isn't. If you shorted anything from the top, it worked, and vice versa. And that might be because this range is quite accurate. You know, it's bouncing more or less at the same place right the way along. A lot of the time it doesn't do that. We've had a bounce here, bounce spot. We did get right down there, but we still got this kind of little bit of a, you know, grey area here. Why is this not getting filled? And then you kind of work out that maybe there's something like that. So there is a higher low there. Now, ordinarily that wouldn't be a bad trade, but there's just something about price at the moment I just do not trust. Now, it may be the fact that I'm just a bit paranoid. I suppose if you know a guy who pokes you with a stick all day every day, next time you see him, you're gonna be going, well, hold on a minute, let's not go through this again. So it may work or it may flush down, but it is a little bit stacked up. But I don't think it looks bad. But the trouble is, it goes up a bit and then seems to drop. So I'm just suspicious. I've not seen anybody. Now, if you like the channel, we've had a break. There is a higher low there, and it may work. But even this area now is looking a bit choppy, which concerns me. To be fair, it's only a 6-tick bar, so as far as risk, it's not that bad. Trouble is, it's struggling to get up, and that always concerns me. Trouble is, it could flush down, clear out some of this, and then take off, couldn't it? Or it may just go up. So if you took that, and this is starting to do that, usually that's a bad sign. Not only that, we've got a channel down there, possible second entry short. It's hard to say. It's stacking up here, so that makes it a little bit more risky anyway. So if you took that trade, it may hold, but my experience is when it starts to do that, kind of luck's running out. Not only that, if there is a larger channel here, 2 attempts to push up, this may come down, but look where it's closed. It's closed a tick or so off a doji, so this is a risky area. But if you think there's any kind of a channel down there, I had it slightly different, but Thomas Wade's got that, in which case we've had 2 legs up. So this may fail, but it's just it's all a bit suspect to me. And I've learned, if you don't know what's going on or something doesn't feel right, stay out of it. Yeah, you may not take a trade, but much better to not take a trade and end up zero than take a trade that I know for a fact this is congested, because I can see it all stacking up. There's traps here, there's bulls trapped here, there's bears trapped here. You just don't know. 1 minute it looks like it's going to push up, then it drops. 1 minute it looks like it's going to come down, then it pushes up. So I don't like any of this. How's the whiskey taste? I haven't drunk much lately, to be fair. In fact, I've just finished, well, I say that. I had a bottle of bourbon. There was a good offer on a litre bottle of Jim Beam. So we've had that over the last week or so, but yeah, I tend to just have a little bit on a Friday. I don't have it because I got for the stage of having a few when I was trading, but I've got quite a good tolerance for whiskey, and I've never had more than a couple, but sometimes I think any amount isn't ideal, is it? It is a higher low. We have had a break of what looks like a channel, so my gut feeling it would probably work, but it's not without its concerns. You can't argue there's a little bit of congestion there, so we could have a leg and a leg. It may come down here, flush down, clear out some of this, and then take off. Who knows? But just see. I don't think anybody's took it. Taylor took it. Thomas Wade hasn't. Let's have a look on Downs. Yeah, so Taylor took it, he's in it. I think it's working for him, but Dan said congestion. You can't argue with congestion, it's a fact. And we know that congestion creates a problem. And if you take a trade, you know, I've already admitted to myself this is congestion. Now, if I take a trade and it triggers me and comes down, that's when I get frustrated with myself. You should only really take a trade if you believe that everything is working right and there's nothing negative. You can't argue there's negative stuff there, because you may say there's a bigger channel down with a couple of attempts to push up and this is coming down. As I say, my gut feeling is it's probably going to go higher, but that doesn't mean it's a good reason to get into a trade. Congestion, it's clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 bars stacked side by side. Congestion. If I take a trade knowing that there's congestion, it goes against me. That's where I used to go on tilt. And I've realised if I stay out of trades when something tells me it's a bad idea, I'm okay. I don't tend to have any problems then. As I say, gut instinct, it's going up, but I don't want to trade on gut alone. You've got to make technical decisions there, and there is... the trouble is, you saying buyers are absorbing it. If you're buying here and you've got to stop down here, you may catch a big move up, but unfortunately with Pats, you've got no room for manoeuvre. Order goes there, stop goes there, so there's always a possibility it could flush down before it pushes higher. So you know, if I entered here and I stopped down here, my profit up here, you've got a little bit more room to take a risk. But I found if you get into trades when there's congestion, you are taking a risk, and if you haven't got a decent size stop to absorb any little bit, that is a little bit of noise as well. If you haven't got a decent enough stop to absorb a bit of that, you know, you can get into trouble. Are we finding a bit of support there? It's hard to say. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. Is there a bottom there? Is this a little bit congested? Is that a second entry short? If we're going from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top, there is a second entry short there. May come down to the bottom. You know, if there's a little bit of uncertainty where we're going here, a lot of the times it will go sideways. And if you look at that, right the way from there to there, we've had a few bounces and we've bounced at the same place. Now, this may come down, but it may not. But I have to sort of at least keep myself open. There may be a little bit of sideways here. There's certainly congestion. So the simple answer for me is if there's something that doesn't feel right or look right, I'll leave it. See, that second entry short didn't trigger anyway, I don't think. No, it hasn't. So, I mean, you know, my gut feeling is it's probably going to work up, but what can you do? Yeah, there's so many different ways to trade. It's hard to know really what would help you, or, you know, I think I've tried a few other bits. I've dabbled around with Penguin style as well, purely because it's very, very similar to Pat's. They're not too far apart. But I think one conclusion I've come back to is that the strategy itself, you can teach someone what a failure is and what a second entry is relatively easily and quite quick. But applying it to the correct context. Now, is this going up or is it going down? It's hard to say. We've had a lot of chop there. We've pushed up. We've had a move down. But then we're going sideways. Is it going to push up or is it going to flush down first? See what I mean? That's triggered and pushed down to the EMA. Is it going to slowly come down? If it does, it'll clear out any possible stops there. I wouldn't trade that purely and simply because it's in congestion. So my experience is if you find weak positions in a move, often they get taken out before it moves up. That to me is cheap liquidity. It may hold down the bottom, but my gut feeling is because that's in congestion, it's likely to get stopped out. There's going to be less. I think the more support and the more stops you have here propping price up, the less chance it has of coming down. But that for me is a little bit weak position, purely and simply because it's in congestion. So who knows? Not only that, we've had this move up. We may make 2 attempts to go lower, clear out any liquidity, and then move up. It could be a correction. Yeah, I mean, I watch all his videos. I've subscribed to his channel, and I look at the charts. But I think one thing I've learned over the 4 years I've been trading Pats, the natural instinct is to open your eyes and look around. If you're struggling or you've had a bad day, it makes sense. People go, "Oh, I try this and it works," or "I try that and it works." Same with the. There was a few talking about. There was a few talking about the range bars, and it looked okay. But after a while, I realised it's got its quirks, the same as this. So I think one thing I've realised, the more I look around, the more I realise I need to just stick with what I know, and just be better at it. As I say, the strategy isn't the difficult part. It's getting in the correct context. It's getting the direction right. If you're not trading the right direction, you're screwed. You can have the best setup in the world. If you go in the wrong direction, you know. So, okay, so we've bounced off this. That for me is a bit weak, and my gut feeling is because of the congestion, it's more likely going to get stopped out. Having said that, like you said, Tony, there's going to be buyers trying to push this thing up. We've had a move up and 2 legs back, so it may hold or it may not. Ultimately, you never really know. You know, there's always a possibility. So Dan's got the same chart as me. He's got this move up. He didn't mark anything here. He wouldn't take that. It's too congested for him. But we've had 2 legs, and often that is more of a penguin style trade, and that doesn't look too bad as a penguin style trade. So my only issue is it's got very close to that low. So if you took that as a penguin trade, if you took your order there, put your stop there, you're out before the tops. Trouble is, same reason I wouldn't take that one. I'd want my stop below there, so it may be too low, but I think that was a better position because we didn't take that out. So, but it is still a little bit sideways again. So, I mean, the way this is working out like a correction, we've had this leg up there. Often market will correct. Let's see if we can push down. If it can't push down, often then, after it's tried a couple of times, often then you get buyers getting in then, see. You know, if we haven't pushed down and it's struggled to get down, where's it more likely to go? Up. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? How you doing, mate? So it's a tough one. I'm still a bit on the fence here. It's still a little bit sideways, so we may come down and clear out some of this. But at the moment, this is more rangy. Yeah, at the moment, I think it's just a bit too dangerous. Trouble is, very easy to see things happen, but the moment you tend to pull the trigger, how many times have we had it? You know, it looks like it's going up, it'll trigger you and then come down. So Dan did take that. I didn't think it was a bad trade back to the EMA. Dan only goes for 6 ticks. It wouldn't have worked for me, but for Dan it would have done. As I say, channel break, new high. It's cleared out all liquidity. Positionally, I think it's a good setup. As I said, my only concern is, are we moving up? But if you took that, Dan goes for 6 ticks, so he is out there comfortably. It actually went on, and you'd have got 2 1/4 from a tick below there, so there was still plenty of profit there. But my concern about this moving up 2 legs down, a retest and a push up was right, although it did come down a bit. We did bounce and then move up, but I just hate trading when it's this slow like this. I hate slow moving stuff. Unless, you know, if I'm trading a slow chart like the 15-minute chart, that's the type of trade where you'd see there may be a triple test here. We've tried 3 times to get up. This thing may come tumbling down. I was trading a 15-minute chart. You could put an order in and walk off, make yourself a cup of tea. You don't have to sit. And I think sometimes that's a better way of trading. When you're trading these fast-moving markets that involve a lot of emotions, when price goes up, you feel great. When price comes down, you're thinking about getting out. It's not the best. They're not ideal emotions to have when you're trading. But if you're trading in maybe a 15-minute chart, and this trade may take you 3/4 of an hour or something like that, you can afford to put your trade and walk away. And the good thing about trading slow markets, you haven't got a little bit more time to make the right decision, which is kind of why I'm looking at this scruffy trader guy. He marks the monthly, the weekly and the daily levels. He uses the fib tool to mark out the levels, and he trades the hourly chart. I need a little bit more of that in my life. Slower charts. He'll mark it and leave it. He's so nervous of being in trades. Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, mate. I think there's 2 things with Pat's which back up that comment. One, your order goes 1 tick above it and your stop goes below. You've got no room for error. And if you happen to get stuck in congestion, now that worked. But if you happen to get stuck in congestion or you've misread it a touch, it can come down and get you. How many times have we been stopped out for a tick or two and the thing's rocketed up in the direction? So that's the downside. So I think it requires a lot of experience trading this particular strategy. I do think it's a good strategy, but faster moving markets where you don't make a decision until that bar closes, I think you're always going to make more mistakes because, you know, the less time you have to make a decision, it's more prone to making mistakes, which is kind of why I've been looking at this scruffy trader guy. He's very good at what he does. And I like the idea of he trades in the morning, UK hours, with the currency. So I like having a combination of the two, maybe more of a day trade and maybe this. And if I find I have more success with that in a year or two or whatever, I may move over. I may dump this completely, but I've been doing this for 4 years, so I built up a lot of experience in that time. So I'll be daft to let this go. So I'm going to continue to trade this as normal. but I am going to learn this currency setup. And one of the things about picking up another strategy as well is two of the most hardest things to muster in trading, patience and discipline. I've already gained a certain amount of experience in that, so hopefully the learning process shouldn't be as arduous as this has been. So we've had a break, 2 attempts to push up. We haven't quite made a new high yet, but then this thing could decide to drop. But I'm not sure how long I've been going for. Nearly 2 hours, in fact. The way this is trading today, I think I might go fishing for a couple of hours. It's not the easiest of days. That trade did work, but not before you got put through all that punishment, and the higher low worked. But purely and simply, when it's stacked up like that, it's not really safe to take. Unless you take more aggressive trades or go for maybe bigger moves. But it's really struggling to get up. It's taken quite and the more I look at this area now, the more it is looking sideways. So up, down, up. Where are we coming? Well, you may think down. Having said that, we have had 2 attempts to push down, so it may go. I don't know. But anyway, it's Friday as well, so you don't want to end up red on a Friday if you can help it. I always like to end up either 0 or green. So 2 hours. I am done, I think. So have a great weekend. So I'll be back on Monday. I'm going to do maybe a couple of hours, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. But it hasn't really made a difference to my trading. In fact, I found it slightly more boring, I think. So there we go. So I'll be back as normal from Monday. So you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. And we'll catch up again on Monday. Bye for now.